Hello, everybody. It's the Worm. I'm back for some more Raging Loop. Last time I was left off on kind of a confusing choice, really. And I saw that a couple of you were also somewhat confused. We went through our next feast pretty quickly, actually, compared to how long it took to get to the first one, since the whole thing started. And within it, the most unexpected thing that occurred was Mamia's play of claiming she is the snake and then calling out Tai-san as a wolf. Now, I could try going over all the different votes, but technically we're not done with that yet, so I think I'll hold off on that. I think I'll more talk about this decision right here. And it is kind of confusing because I I, I really don't understand the reason why you would vote for Takumi. Um, it just seems strange, especially given the fact that we know Takumi is a human. It's just I don't know if there's someone out there who sees this and is able to understand what the rationale would be. Like, here's what I'm curious about: if we chose to um, say the night before when we did our snake action, and we chose Takumi, I chose Takumi to understand, and we found out he was human. If we chose Mamia or what was the third one? Kinosuke. If we chose Kinosuke or Mamia and we got back to this point right now, would it be the same choice between Hisako and Takumi here? Because just imagine a scenario where you chose Kinosuke and then you get to here. It'd be I think it would be a more confusing choice to make because you wouldn't be sure. But we have some info on this. And at this point, I think we're all just fairly sure that Hisako is a wolf or a badger. So yeah, I think last choice was kind of a more passive. We said let's see how things play out. Let's not reveal we're the snake. I think now is the time to go a bit on the offensive. I think I'm going to pick the vote for Hisako, and of course, that's going to tie with the that's going to tie the vote because Mami is probably going to vote for Tai-san, and so at that point, I'm really not sure where things stand because we had a couple strange votes last time. If I have to mention any now, Kaori-san, her vote was strange. Well, the old man's vote is always strange, but just there were a few outliers, so I'm not sure how this second round's going to go. But yeah, let's just do this. We're going to do Hisako because I just can't imagine a reason to vote for Takumi here. I should leave this up to the final vote. Though I want it, yeah. Okay, so there is this idea. This is what Yasunaga brought up last time. Basically, it's the idea that if we allow Mamiya-san to live, if she is a wolf, we'd be able to sort of study her to see what she does, and maybe she'll be able to give something away. But of course, to do that, we have to sacrifice Tai-san, and I was ready to do that last episode, but I don't know. I can't think of a valid reason to vote for Takumi. I don't understand that decision. Um, yeah, though I wanted to see what Mamiya-san would do. If it was between someone I knew was a human and a wolf, it was the wolf who should die. I explained my reasons to Mamia-san. As expected, Mamia-san threw a fit, practically foaming at the mouth, and voted for Tai-san. Now we were in the final vote.
お前ババ
記者の女に
ああ変わらずマミ
Oops,
お二
sorry.
人から選ぶなら、ええ、間宮さんに投票します。
Sorry for cutting you off, Takumi.
そうだな。どちらが怪しいというならば間宮女子の方だが、ここはあえて泳がせる意味で山脇さんに1票。
Yeah, I suppose if you vote for Takumi, that's the more cutthroat answer. I guess it's just to say, yeah, you want to see more of what Mamia-san does. But we're fairly sure she's a wolf at this point. It was 2-3 with Mamia-san in the lead. Now it was up for the village youth. Yeah.
野里さんがかばうような動きをしたのがひどく気になります。間宮さんに1票。
2-4.
やっすんそうするのか。僕はタエバーに入れとこ。お姉ちゃんが明日なんて言うのか気になるから。
3-4.
ババアより怪しい記者の女に。
Yoshitsugu flipping his vote. 3-5.
タエばあちゃんにブチギレたってだけならどっちも怪しいってば。
Chami flipping her vote. 4-5.
私は間宮さんかな。
4-6.
私は蛇の加護者を名乗る方を存在には扱えません。申し訳ありません。山脇大様。
5-6.
どっちかしか選べないの？
Oh, are we gonna...
じゃあおばあちゃん。
Did Mako even have a clear target? Everyone's eyes were focused on me. My vote would decide it all. Being an outsider like her, I could sympathize deeply with Mamia-san. Her stories were very interesting, she was pretty, and if it weren't for all this, I could see myself getting on pretty well with her. Much more than Tai-san, sad as it was to say. However, the rationality of the Feast of the Only Purge did not allow me to choose her.
間宮さんに投票します。
Ooh, we're the tiebreaker. And then it happened. Mamia-san darted off with a scream as she made a break for the exit, nearly tripping on her own feet.
逃がすな。待て。てめえ。
How? You know, this is a fair reaction. This is, I mean, to be expected, really.
縄持ってこい。はよ。
お待ちを。
やめろやめろ。
How would I feel in Mamia-san's shoes? She'd been bound and gagged, having her freedom and right to speech stolen from her. To her, she was a foreigner who'd been hunted down and cornered by a community rooted in strange traditions. An absurdly irrational ending where she'd been punished for rules she didn't agree with one bit. Were it not for the looping in my past knowledge, I'd probably be thinking along the same lines. But from the way she was acting, it didn't look like she'd come up with the idea to play a fake snake on her own. Had the other wolves pressured her into it, I would bet on that. In that case, there were wolves amongst us who'd driven her to her death and were playing dumb. Shinai-san's guardians are... Oh. We passed through the mist and walked toward the graveyard. Here's a silver lining, okay? I really, really want the crow to speak up. The crow got no opportunity last time. I really want the crow to actually play a part here. If she was a human, we know she's the badger. That would be a shame, because we still got 3 wolves then. And if she's a wolf, that'd be a big plus. Yeah. 5. Prepare the feast when the evening mists arrive. Everyone was singing prayer to Shinai. Shinai-san's guardians are. I couldn't tell who started it or when they did so. 8. Death of the damned Yomibito is the mandate. The sobbing mixed with singing made it seem like an old funeral, but it was actually an execution. Painfully slowly, we walked through the path leading to the cliff next to Saranaga. I was already used to this thanks to all the cleanups. Everyone dragged Hisako Mamia, bound head to toe along with them. 7. The corrupt Yomibito rise to oppose the mountain. Before I knew it, even I joined in singing, creating a perfect unity in the group. Eventually, we reached our destination. It was downhill, beyond the trees wet with dew, in the grass field covered in stones marking the lives of those who used to live here. Strangely enough, the aged pine tree right at the end could be seen easily, despite the mist. As we stopped, so did the song and emotion. Mamia-san struggled against her bonds to the bitter end, but was unable to escape them. And so, Kanzo-san tied the rope around her neck and threw her down into the misty valley. Right after she landed, we heard a disturbing crunching noise instead of a death wail. Her cervical vertebrae had been damaged when she'd been hung, so her death had practically been instant. I hoped she hadn't suffered long, at least. All I felt was pity, fringing on heartlessness toward a fellow outsider who'd been caught up in all of this. Yeah, I mean, that's Haruaki. Just he illustrated it pretty well. If we hadn't been used to the looping and all this craziness, you know, Mamia-san is essentially, well, she's like us in our first playthrough, like trapped in a horror movie, and we just saw her end right there. I mean, it's yeah, we just saw the end of a horror movie essentially, and yeah, and you know, she had to deal with Hashimoto-san dying, and yeah, so again, I'm trapped between these two warring motivations. On the one hand, you know, you view it as a game and you want to win the game, but on the other, these are I said this last time, they're characters that you want to empathize with, and that just it makes it sting, you know? Okay. Afterwards, we all returned to the dining hall, where Kaori-san and I served the light lunch while time passed by. Everyone tried to act as normal as possible. They tried to convince themselves that Mamia-san shouldn't have been in Yasumizu in the first place, so her absence was only natural. However, it was clear that they felt guilty for committing murder. Killing someone no one liked and talking as though none of it ever happened was a horrible group mentality. But that was the truth of the Feast of the Yomi Purge. For a group brought together to kill the wolves, to not actually hunt them down and kill them, was madness bordering on suicidal. So, it was what it was. We'd had to kill her. Simple as that.
臭いし、あまり気にすんな。
Takumi-san comforted me. I must have looked guilty.
そうだね。春明さんはたまたま選ぶのが最後になっただけ。あの状況でどっちを選んでも仕方ないって。みんなで選んだんだから。
ちいちゃんは私に入れた。
Yeah.
うん。ごめん。でも本当にどっちも選べなかったんだ。ごめん、タイバーちゃん。許してもらえなくても仕方ないけど。
ええよね。それが宴よ。
Oh, she bounced back pretty quickly there. A reconciliation. Normally, that'd be cause for celebration. But what would happen tomorrow? Anyway, I'd thrown away my chance to reveal I was the snake and chose to keep it hidden. So long as I was, I had to avoid fatal situations and keep hiding my identity until a more favorable opportunity presented itself. But when would that be? When would a better opportunity than this feast occur? Was there anyone I trusted who I could share my secrets, meet with, and take on the feast with all in one day? That seems like my only option. Well, we could trust Yasunaga, and maybe Takumi. Excuse me. Sorry, I apologize. What was I saying? Konzo. I mean, we could technically trust Konzo, but he's so stern and so... I don't know. I don't think I want to trust him. Yasunaga would be my bet, because, you know, he's a very strategic thinker here. I grappled with those unsatisfied thoughts as dinner ended, and I returned to my hut. Murder really didn't pay, even in this situation. Even when I could loop. Actually, no. It was because I could loop that I could keep these memories of being a murderer and move on to the next time if I screwed up. I took her life. I would take this extremely reviling and terrifying taste of omnipotence with me to the grave. It didn't feel good to know I could be bound. I think this is a mistake here. It didn't feel good to know I could have been bound by my experience? Or should it be bound by my experience? Okay. I remember those thoughts running through my head as I absentmindedly wrote someone's name down and put it under my pillow. Wait, what? Oh, come on now. We don't get to choose? I can't leave it on a fourth cliffhanger? Come on, game. We were on a roll there. The video would be too short otherwise. Okay, I guess Haruaki made his own choice here. And then I lost consciousness. No! Oh, dang it. That's why we didn't get to choose. In the end, I never woke up. Why had the wolves chosen this point to go after me? Is it because we were the decisive factor, the decisive vote in getting Mamia? I couldn't understand it. I'd even refrained from revealing my guardian to avoid suspicion. In that case, I must have already been pretty high on the wolves' hit list. And my actions today had crossed some line, or maybe they'd already decided to kill me today, and that had nothing to do with it. I didn't know. It was pointless to think about. That was how the Feast of the Omi Purge was, no matter how much logic I tried to apply. It could all come crashing down on a whim. No, perhaps logic wasn't even all that important in the feast. Though, I'd already died. I felt like those bitter thoughts continued even after. I don't remember my last moments very well. Before long, my consciousness eroded away and faded, like the mist that covered all. No! We don't even get to hear if the crow spoke up. I'm so disappointed. Yeah, let's do this. We haven't seen you in a while, Mr. Sheep.
やっちまったってことはねえな、今回は、大将。
Yeah, I didn't.
こりゃしゃあねえよ。気分転換までにヒント聞いてってくれ。
Okay, let me hear it.
今回のバッドエンド14、題して、狼投票したら血祭りについてだが、俺もバッドエンド13と類点かもしれねえな。
Did I get bad ending 13? What's bad ending 13?
つまり、 人狼ゲームのセオリー的には何にも間違ってねえってこと。
Well, that's good to know.
特に夫妻子春明的には間宮久子が絶対に偽物だとは分かってるわけだからな。ただ、
Oh, sorry, Mr. Sheep.
これを見てる狼がもし夫妻子春明に目つけていて殺すために些細な判断材料を探してたなら
I guess, well, okay, I'll save this for after this.
大将の選んだ選択肢が気まぐれな狼の背中を押しちまうかもしれねえってわけだ。人狼ゲームならぬ読み意味の宴。目立たずにこっそり生き残る方向性で。
Well, I thought I was being discreet.
5、キティの9、投票の選択1に戻ってみてくれ。つうわけで、今回はここまで。次も元気に死んで
Is
こ
that
い。
is that the vote with Takumi and Mamia? Really?
そういう夢だったってわけ。
Okay, so the thought I had was, I guess we could do a thing where if we revealed ourselves as the snake and counteracted Mamiya-san, by doing that, we could for sure we could advocate for getting the spider to protect us. Maybe something like that. So maybe even though we have revealed ourselves, we could gain protection or something, and forcing the wolves to either try their, chances on getting us or, going for someone else. I guess that's a strategy. So what So it looks, from the hint corner and from what Haruaki was saying, it looks like, yeah, Haruaki was already on the list of people to kill by the wolves. And I mean, fair enough. He's one of the only ones who's like giving strategy and is trying to talk things through in a sort of reasonable, logical manner. And so the wolves could see him as, a potential threat in that way. So the fact that we led when they asked Haruaki, hey, what information did you get? And he said, oh, wouldn't the wolves want to claim their guardians? The fact that he was giving that sort of advice and basically led to Mamia getting voted for, it, as the sheep guy just said, it led to our death, because the wolves are like, yeah, we got to take this guy out, whether or not he has a guardian. Take him out, and that's where it led, I guess. Man, that's a bit of a bummer, I gotta say. Okay. Is there a way to see a list of the endings? I don't remember Bad End 13. Well, I don't even know which endings I've got. He wanted me to go to... He wanted me to go back to vote. How long have I been going? Man, do I want to do another path right now? I don't know. So, what's the deal here? In this one, Tai-san gets sacrificed, right? And by doing that, are we showing... Are we basically throwing the wolves off by, not making the, quote-unquote correct choice by getting rid of Mamia? Is that the strategy? Man, this is where you get into that sort of like 4D chess state of thinking that I just don't think I'm used to. Man. Yeah. Oh boy. How do I want to do this? Okay, let's at least start it. Let's at least start this. Let's keep going.
匠さんに投票します。
Nobody seemed to have expected my declaration. Neither would the wolves. The room was filled with commotion, and I could hear some of them whispering. It was mostly on the my goodness. It was mostly along the lines of what's he thinking, or I guess we know who we're hanging. This was a strange and heavy-handed way to go about this. However, I felt like it could lead me to gaining Takumi-san's fate. Oh, this is too much for me, man. Okay, tell me, Haruaki, because you've lost me. I had my doubts, though. It was a serious gamble. Yeah, no kidding. However, I had a feeling that if I chose anyone else, I wouldn't survive the night. Could have told me that.
どういう意味だ、妻子?
I had to carefully phrase my response here. Settling on what words to use, I said,
僕はあなたを守りたいと思ってます。
He did show some confusion, but the more pronounced emotion by far was anger. Pure rage. After all, by not voting for Mamia-san, I'd just condemned Tai-san to death.
それは香織さんや千恵美と同じような話かよ。僕からは以上です。
あ?
I couldn't say too much. My goal here was actually just to make him feel like something was up. That was why I had to end this feast with those words, or with words that stayed in his mind. Well, I probably had to prepare for a punch or two. It was an awkward moment, but I stayed silent.
私の番ね。分かってるでしょうけど、山脇さんに投票するわ。
Ugh, man. I know last time, I said this earlier this video. Last time I said, earlier this video I said, you know, last time I was more cutthroat by saying I was ready to sacrifice Tai-san. But now that we're actually getting there, it feels so difficult.
決まった。
With those words, everyone stood up like it was rehearsed. Isako-san and I were a bit behind them in that regard. Then I saw the villagers' faces, which seemed different from before.
植松の縄を。
はい。
匠、タエバーに酒ついでやれ。
ばちゃん。
あんたはちいちゃい頃から機関棒で悪い子じゃったね。思うことはてこでも曲げん子でも優しい子で今と変わらんわいね。それでも大きゅう育ってよしこさんも誇らしかろうね。
よしこさん。
俺ばあちゃんのこと本当のばあちゃんみたいに思ってた。本当の家族みたい
に。泣きなさんな。親内様のところでまた会えるわよ。
The old lady smiled and drank her sake. Then the rope was placed over her shoulders.
縛ります。
しっかりね。
Rokako-san twined the rope around her twice and tied her hands behind her back. It was simple but necessary. The process continued. The dimly lit hall was filled with dark emotions. Lament, chagrin, and gloom was heard in every sob, whimper, and movement. I felt like I was watching a family grieve for an elder dying a peaceful death. Isako Mamia silently mouthed the words, "They're insane." I shared that sentiment wholeheartedly. Are we just doing the same thing again? Yep, they're just singing the Yep. Do. Exact same words. Even Mamia-san and I joined in the singing. Interesting. That's different. And it was downhill, da-da-da. Yep, we could see it easily. Stop the song.
最後に何ぞあるか。
Oops, sorry, Kanzo. He's just asking for last words. No birds could be heard, and the wind was still. Perfect silence surrounded us as Kanzo-san did the job.
私は蘇りなんぞせんつもりじゃがね。向こうがどんなところかわからんからね。正直恐ろしいが、これも安水のためじゃ。仕方ない。あんたは許さんぞ、女。
Her voice was crystal clear, and now bore an unmistakable hatred. Mamia-san remained silent, and everyone, aware of what was about to happen, prepared for the final process.
私たちの信仰の中心は、ある意味ここ、首吊り松の墓所。
I knew this was an important place for them, but I didn't know anything else. However, I did feel like they were acting with absolute precision, like they were meticulously rehearsed actors in a stage play. Two of them coiled the rope around the pine's large trunk, leading out toward the cliff, while another skillfully made a noose out of the other end. Kanzo-san took it in his hand and looped it over Tai-san's neck.
落ちなかれ。
落ちなかれ。
It was the first time I'd heard those words. They were probably a final goodbye and a signal. And with that, the old lady's small frame went over the cliff. A second later, the rope went taut. At the same time, an inhuman sound came from the mist down below. After a long silence,
信頼さんのお守りはいかがちふましらみがらすよも
the song was sung again. It was obvious who started it this time. After repeating the song a dozen or so times, Kanzo walked up to the pine and cut the rope with a sickle he had in hand. Was there a sound of her falling down? If there was, I couldn't hear it. Oh, man. Should I keep going? What's there to talk about? I guess now we go back to the original plan. That being tomorrow, I'm hoping the crow will finally step up. And then that will reveal Mamia-san as a fraud. And I guess we'll go from there. Yeah, I guess it's basically everything I was saying last time. It's just the decision between Takumi and Mamia is what threw me off, you know? It just seems so weird to vote for him when we know he's innocent, but I guess it's basically a non sequitur to throw off the wolves. I guess it's something like that. Just make it seem like either we don't know what we're doing, or make the wolves want to hesitate to take us out because they don't know what we're doing. Something like that. Or maybe because Mamia-san's still alive by the end of the day, they feel more secure in, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I guess I understand. I think I'll probably call it here though. I don't think I want to go on for much longer. I don't want to get into a whole new situation when we just finished that one. Obviously, I'll be thinking about this for next time. Maybe I'll go over the vote a bit more. You all could let me know what you think. Yeah, it's some 4D chess going on here, man, and I don't know if I'm up to the task on this one. At least I can put Tyson off the suspect list, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. Let's regroup for next time. I've been the Worm. This has been Raging Loop. It's the game's hitting me hard with these scenes here. Not as hard as Takumi's been hit, but you know, we have no choice but to move on. So I hope to see you next time. Stay well.